Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Siddiq Public School, Class 9th, Week 2, Lecture number 3. It's Friday today, June 12, 2020. Dear students, hope you are doing well. We appreciate your assistance during this phase of virtual teaching. You will be provided with a lecture code every week. For this week, it is 9E03. 9 is for class, E stands for English, and 3 is the lecture number. Your cooperation is really admired and respected if you keep few things in mind before sending your assignments for checking. Writing your lecture code, name, roll number, and section on every single sheet is the foremost requirement, especially if you are using multiple sheets. Secondly, accordant assignments or book activities are not to be submitted. According to the revised time slot, now you will get your English lecture once a week, that is on Friday. Lecture number 3. Comprehension of unit number 4, Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha. Comprehension is to understand and remember what you read. It is not just a question-answer activity, but a tool to check how much have you understood from the passage or text of the unit. Here are some rules and tips to attempt comprehension correctly. Read and understand the question clearly. If you can't get what is asked, you can't answer correctly. Number 2, answer the questions precisely. Unnecessary details sometimes take you away from the main or required answer, so it should be to the point. Number 3, the tense and voice should be the same as used in question. Number 4, avoid short, one or two worded answers. Write answers in complete sentences. Let's discuss some question types. Which sort of questions are generally used to check your understanding? There are two types of questions, open and close-ended questions. Open-ended questions have unlimited various response options. They do not expect a particular answer. If the question starts from what, we have to write about the object, idea, feeling, effect, suggestion, plan, situation, condition, action, or reaction in the answer. As we have read the unit Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha, let's take an example from the same unit. The question is, what happened when Abu Jahl asked about Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu? When Abu Jahl asked about Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu, Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha simply posed a counter question. It infuriated or enraged Abu Jahl, and he slapped her face so hard that her earring fell off. We can see that here in the answer, action and reaction of Abu Jahl and Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha is provided as per requirement. The questions that start from which, we need an object, item, idea, event, incident, a group of people in answer. Again, an example from the text. Paragraph number 2 or 3. Which incident in the story shows Hazrat Asma's Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha love and respect for the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Answer. Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anha undertook the difficult task of supplying food to the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam during the perilous journey of migration. She tied the food on the camel back with her own belt when nothing else could be found, and traveled to the cave of Zoar. This incident shows her love and respect for the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, as per the rule, the whole incident is provided in the answer. If we have questions starting from why, we have to write reason and cause in the answer. For example, why did Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu anha tie the food with her own belt? In answer, surely the reason or the cause is to be written. Similarly, if the open-ended questions begin with where, place or enclosure should be necessarily there in the answer. Example, paragraph number 3. Where did the immigrants take refuge during the palace journey of migration? During the journey of migration, the immigrants took refuge in the cave of Sora that lay in the rugged mountains. In the same way, open-ended questions starting from when require day, date, month, year, duration, season, or phase of life in answer. For example, when did Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu anhu migrate towards Medina? Certainly, year is to be mentioned in the answer. Questions that begin with who, whom, whose demand person or people in answer. For example, who slapped Hazrat Asma? Whose earring fell off? Whom did Hazrat Asma Radhiyallahu anha pose a counter question? In the same way, if the question starts with how, we use the whole method, way, process, solution, and technique of what has been asked. For example, paragraph number 1, question: how did the tribal chiefs of Makkah react on knowing about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam migration? Answer: the tribal chiefs of Makkah got much furious on knowing about the Rasul's sallallahu alaihi wasallam migration. They were so determined for his capture that they offered huge rewards for this purpose. The answer shows the way or the solution with which they want to capture both the immigrants. Paragraph number 5, one more example. How did Hazrat Asma radhiyallahu anha console her grandfather? Answer: Hazrat Asma radhiyallahu anha gathered some pebbles from a corner of the house, put them at the place where her father used to place his wealth and jewels, and then she covered them with a piece of cloth. When her grandfather touched the cloth, he thought it was full of gold and jewels. In this way, she consoled her grandfather, acting very wisely. Second type of questions is close-ended questions. They have limited response options that require certain answers. We typically refer questions with yes or no responses as close-ended. So all those questions beginning with auxiliaries like is, am, are, do, does, will, can, has, have, and their past forms are closed-ended questions. Some examples from the text. Did Hazrat Asma radhiyallahu anha provide food to the immigrants? Number 2, was Abu Quhafa worried? Have you read the unit Hazrat Asma radhiyallahu anha? To sum up, comprehension is a tool to check the understanding of any reading passage. If we keep in mind some basic tips and rules, we can attempt all sorts of questions correctly. Here is your written assignment. Prepare your sheet before your written work. Write the lecture code, that is 9E03, on the central top of your sheet. Then your name, roll number, and section under it. Now you can start your work. There are 3 open-ended questions in your assignment. Number 1, why was Hazrat Abu Quhafa radhiyallahu anhu worried? Number 2, who was Hazrat Abdullah bin Zubair radhiyallahu anhu? And number 3, Which incident in the story shows the generosity of Hazrat Asma radiallahu ta'ala anha? This assignment is separately uploaded as well for your convenience. That's all for today. Allah Hafiz.